So the troops that were in those forward positions that got bombed, they've pulled back, and the Americans can't see past the foliage of that first trench line, so they really don't know what's on that other side. So they're going to have to probe up to see what's there, which is one of the reasons why the Germans pulled back, because now they can be in an ambush position where they'll take them out on the other side rather than being sitting ducks for American artillery, which was much more plentiful than the Germans after the first couple of weeks of the invasion. And as they infiltrate this line, they'll be cautious to make sure that they don't have booby traps on doors and things like that were left behind for them to try to slow down their advance. Once the infantry can secure the position, they will start bringing up heavier equipment and vehicles and the rest of the infantry to make sure that they're not in a full ambush, and they defend their flanks. So now they're starting to catch some fire from the American infantry on the German side. The M1 Garand with an 8-round clip, you can fire as fast as you pull the trigger, is considered one of the best weapons in the world. We also use to equip several of our allied countries. The M1 Garand, the only default that I can tell you from the German side is that when you get done with the ammunition, they had a really convenient thing to do. And you know that they're out of the ammunition. But it was much more rapid fire than the standard rifle that the Germans used. The Germans used a 1915 model. It was basically a design for a rifle that came about from the late 1880s or 1880s, and was used in some form or another from about 1896 all the way through 1945. The rifles were longer in World War I. Referred to as a Gewehr 98 or Rifle 98 model, and at the end of World War I, because they realized they didn't need to reach out and touch somebody at 2 miles. They really just needed to touch somebody about 200 yards. So they went to what they referred to as the carbiner method. There were 8-round, 7 So with at least one MG34, that allowed a rate of fire of 500 miles. They aim through one side of their squad with that gun, and later covered fire with the squad to leapfrog up and capture a position. The Americans, having been exposed to the MG34, they recognized that we had some sort of a light machine gun. And they came up with a 30 caliber machine gun that had a bipod that they could transport somewhat easily. You may even see a machine gun crew move up and put down a tripod to actually lay down covering fire, but it wasn't quite as efficient as the bipod system used with the MG34. You'll see the Germans are now pouring out some covering fire. They don't necessarily have fire support, they do not have communications. In the case of the infantry that's moved up, they're only occupying part of that position, and they're not sure what lays ahead in the rest of the zigzagging positions on that left side of the field. Whereas the Germans know perfectly well what's there because they were occupied. If you can catch them while they're off balance with a group that's coming in and you know what the training is there, you can easily push them out in these places and counterattack, which is what's going on right here.
Why should say? Alright, well, I don't want to record your phone. I don't want to.
It's fine,
You can see that there's some close combat that's happening. Some of the Germans try to retake the position. These are the grenadiers that came out of the half-track. The half-track will stay back a little bit so they could lay down covering fire if needed with their armored gun shield. The 88 was able to cut through most of the armor that you see on this field pretty much like a butter knife because it was such a powerful cartridge. But you can see the infantry that was starting to engage the Allied infantry on the other side. They're pulling back because they are sitting ducks and there will be no match for the tanks that are coming around the corner. So the first tanks that you see coming through are Stuart tanks. These are the as light reconnaissance vehicles in the late 30s. It used a 37mm cannon. It has a coaxial 30 caliber machine gun. And they also have a bow machine gun where the co-driver would stick using vision ports in the vehicle. The Stuart was a pretty fast tank. It could probably go about 50 miles an hour without too much trouble. And while it was lightly armored, it was considered fast. These tanks are replaced horses by the late 1930s. The one with the yellow mark and was the first model that was built in production. And they went to a more up-armored version. In order they found that they needed additional. They couldn't necessarily use speed because they were limited in their range of what they could go, because the roads were easily blocked. So you see that there's a bunch of sandbags piled up in front. The sandbags have been offered additional. They also put one of the tape beds outside, which is also to make sure that you have your store cuts. They also added there's a 50 caliber machine gun on the back of the tank as well. But that is not serviceable primarily to fight against enemy aircraft that are low flying or strafing objects. You see an American half-track is also moving up. It was the American version. Some of the Jeeps that you see out there are 50 cals. 50 cal Jeeps originally designed to be but the Allies had completely reduced some units that are moving up are dressed as British, but they're actually Poles. Several units that were formed under the Commonwealth troops, under the British. Fought in Italy especially. These are made up of Poles either from were outside of Poland, or had lost the war against Germany and Russia in 1939. There was also Poles that escaped Europe and wanted to continue fighting, so they joined these units and continued fighting on the Allied side during the remainder of the war. A lot of times the Germans are given a rap that they're the fanatical Nazis that held on to the last war. A lot of these guys were drafted and they didn't necessarily support the regime. And they had an opportunity to surrender when they had a fixed purpose. And this is not going to be a good situation. Surrender. The USS was a little bit more committed to the cause in the late war. Those are things that would hold out against US forces sometimes in the West.
One guy that is joining his headache. What's your get? You feel
I have
it?
a headache. Can I go off the field nurse for? I'm all here's some ice. I got shot.
America's going to sweep through and mop up what's left of the resistance.
I broke my arm on the
Prisoners
field.
will be taken and search them for documents, maps,
I know you have a
they're going to go
scratch.
through the bunkers.
Oh my God, we need to take you to the